gonna keep it, I would convert the front to this.
Okay, first day home with this Buick, and needs a few things tended to. These sun visors are flopping all over the place, first of all, and the gas pedal is real stiff. There's some kind of stiff spring going on there. Really hard to accelerate smoothly. Check that. And it's running really rich, smells really bad. Other than that, it seems like it drives pretty good. So we'll see what we can do to get this thing straightened out. Okay, so I had to take the back seat out to install the seat belts. So that's already done. And while I'm doing that, I have to make these filler pieces here because the previous owner bought these pieces, which are intended for a Skylark or GS, I guess, and they don't go all the way down. So I have this piece of poster illustration board here. It's going to go right here, and I'm going to cover it with some leather material that was left over from the seats. And that's going to make a filler panel. And then the armrest will go here. And then I have some of this stick-on chrome strip that will hopefully bridge the gap between the upper and the lower. Also have to install the lights that go in the sail panels. There's no wires right there right now, so I have to run the wires and put everything back, and hopefully it'll look great. This is my 67 Buick Special. It's badged as a GS 400. I didn't do that, the previous owner did it. So it actually has a 430 cubic inch Buick engine, which was swapped in by one of the previous owners. This car originally probably had a 300, or it might have even been a V6, I'm not sure. The 430 came in the full-size Buicks. This is actually a 67 model year 430, so the previous owner told me it came out of a Wildcat Buick, which was a full size. The engine's been completely rebuilt. It runs great. It's all stock though. I mean, it does have a mild cam in it, and it's got an Edelbrock intake, but it's got the original exhaust manifolds. It has a quadrijet, and it does have a Mallory distributor. When I bought the car, the paint job was already done by the previous owner, and he had the interior redone. It's leather, done in the original Buick Special style pattern. New headliner, dash was recovered. The rest of the dash is original. I put on the sports steering wheel from a later model Buick. When I bought it, it had a turbo 400 switch pitch, and I bought a Richmond Street 5-speed, which is the old Doug Nash 4+1, which means fifth gear is a 1-to-1 ratio. This car has an original 293 rear axle, so with the tall first gear in this Richmond and the highway gear in fifth, it's pretty much the same as having an overdrive without having an overdrive. It was missing the side wheel opening trims. Actually, the guy who I bought it from gave me the fronts, and I had to find the rears, which was not easy because unlike Chevelles and Pontiac GTOs, there's really not a great aftermarket for these Buicks. So I had to find a used original set, and they were ridiculously expensive. The guy I bought it from told me he bought the car off eBay, and it was in Kansas. And he I don't know if he drove there or flew there. I think he flew there, and he drove the car back. And then redid the body and the paint. I think he re-chromed the bumpers. And when I bought it, it was just missing some trim pieces here and there. Some of the interior panels he hadn't found or put back in, so I just had to kind of finish details. He had the engine painted blue. Correct for Buick for this year would be red. I got some original looking spark plug wires. I did the disc brake conversion. It had four-wheel drum, which were not great, so I got this disc kit. I think it was from eBay. And the car stops unbelievably now. Unbelievably well. The power steering pump I got from an original GS from that year, because the pump that was on here was from a full-size Buick, and I believe it was, where it was positioned was wrong. It might have been too far low, and it was interfering with something. I can't really remember. So I just kind of painted up and detailed the engine compartment. There's a few things I still want to do to it. It has one of those aftermarket digital radios, which I really don't like. Kind of sounds like crap. The guy had a whole stereo system installed. There's like amplifiers in the trunk and bass too, but I don't know anything about car stereos, and it sounds to me like it's pretty terrible. So when I bought it, all this stuff was just laying around in the trunk, so I screwed it up underneath up there just to tuck it away, but still not working right. Gotta figure out something for that. Oh, I also put the rally wheels on it. He had torque thrust 16-inch, which were fine, but I was just trying to go for the more original look. So these are actually original Buick rallies, 15x7 from cars probably made in the 70s or 80s had these wheels. And I found those on eBay also. And pretty nice condition. Just clean those up. I got new reproduction center caps. I changed the fuel tank because when you filled up the car more than halfway, you got an awful fuel smell in the garage. So there was a leak in the tank somewhere. So I got a new tank, and I put a rear sway bar on it, which it did not have. And I replaced out the front sway bar for a beefier size, and it actually made a nice difference in the way the car rides and handles. Tightened up the feel of the car, and although it's not really a handling car, it does handle better than it did. I did change the valving in the power steering too, because it was a very loose feel. Oh, I changed the steering box. Yeah, actually, let's go back. I changed the steering box. It's from a late model Jeep, like a 90 something like a 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee, I think. And it has a much firmer feel. I think it's 12 or 13 to 1 ratio, less turns lock to lock, tighter steering feel. And that's pretty much it. Just cruise it around, car nights here and there. The kids love riding around in it, and I wish I got to use it more often, but constantly busy working on the other hoopties in the fleet, and this one and the Grand National kind of get neglected. Well, if you made it this far into the video, you might be wondering, well, why did I want to get a Buick Skylark as opposed to a Chevelle or a GTO? And besides, not seeing dozens of them at every car cruise, you barely ever see one of these Buicks. The other reason is value. If you want to look at the Chevy in good condition, $16,000. The Le Mans, Pontiac Le Mans in good condition, $14,100, and the Buick, $10,700. So you can see there's a significant value difference there. So if you don't have the budget for a Chevelle or a GTO, at a lower price, you could get into a 60s muscle car like this Buick Skylark. However, for me, the main reason I was trying to find a 67 Buick was because my uncle had a 67 GS400 when I was a little kid. And it was a race car, and it was loud, and I still remember covering my ears when he started it. And I just thought it would be a cool car to have. He sold that car a long time ago, and then as luck would have it, he actually found it years later, bought it again, and he still has it to this day.